Today guys, it's time, finally time for the boat tour of, I hope I'm pointing right at the boat somewhere, my new sailboat. I did a tiny tour a couple of videos ago, but now it's time for a more bigger tour, and now it's present time, it's November, and I've been out sailing to Norway during this autumn, which has been awesome, and I have a lot of material for that, some editing and stuff. But today and now it's time for a tour of this beautiful boat, Stella. So we're gonna start with the outside of the boat, work our way through the hull and the keel, then up on the deck outside of the boat, and then go inside. So first off, front of the boat, we got this nose thingy coming out. I don't know the name in English. It's called peke in Swedish, but no idea in English. And you got the hull coming out here. This is pretty high painted, so that's not the waterline. The waterline is actually here. So, but I figure that's pretty good if you pack a lot of things in the boat and it settles down in the water a little bit, you still got some paint left over. The boat is 2 meters 65 centimeters wide and 29 feet long. So on the widest spot, it's quite wide for its size, but then it's quite slim in the front and the back, so it goes like slim and then quite wide and then slim again, which is a pretty old way of making a boat, but I think it works perfect on this boat. And the keel is a fin keel, pretty long fin keel, which I appreciate a lot because it creates slightly more course stability in the water. If you're on a passage or something, you got a lot of big waves coming in from behind. If you're surfing and stuff, the boat's gonna stay better on course. And this keel weighs in at about 1.6 tons. So that's about 45% of the whole boat's weight, which is totally fine on a boat like this. In the back here we got the rudder, which is protected by a skeg more or less halfway down the rudder. I would prefer having a skeg going all the way down, but then of course you can't, it's hard to find used boat in this size which has everything that you want, so this is a little bit of a trade-off for me. But it has a halfway skeg, so if something would hit here and this part would fall off, then you still have some kind of rudder still, which is attached also down here and up here, so it is attached at two spots, which is good if you would accidentally hit something. And then we have the propeller here, pretty big propeller for the size of the boat. It runs, if you're going like 2000 revs, this propeller easily drives the boat in 5 knots if it's completely flat. So that's quite fast for such a boat. You can push it high speed. It's probably 6.5 knots or something, which is also pretty fast. You're gonna burn a lot of diesel in that speed, but it's nice to have if you want to push against a gale or big waves or something like that and you really need to go upwind for some reason. Let's go up in the boat. It's so strange to have the boat standing on land now, because when you're jumping on board it's just completely still. It's not moving at all. Okay, let's start in the back. We got this big storage compartment right here in the back. You open right here and you got some fenders, bucket, gas, some different things down here. It's pretty big, but I don't use it too much because it's not the easiest to access, and the hatch here is not super solid in place either yet, but I'm gonna fix that. Ladder back here, which I haven't tried yet because it's been super cold in the water this autumn, so not too much baiting. You got an anchor here in the back as well with some chain and a roll, which is super common here in Sweden because we usually anchor in the back and then go with the front towards the rocks or the islands or wherever you want to put your boat for the night. Otherwise, cockpit, Got some more storage compartments right here. You lift this wooden stuff here, and you got one there, and then one here as well. And then underneath the rest of the cockpit, it's the beds basically going in like that. Pretty slim beds. I'm gonna show you that a little bit later. But first I'm gonna show you more or less the best thing about the boat. This thing, not the solar panel. Solar panel is super good, but this doghouse right here, it's just the best thing. It's pretty big. You can sit down here, and if you sit as close to the hatch as possible, you're more or less underneath the roof all the time. And it's solid roof, it's glass fiber, yeah. And you get good visibility through these windows compared to like a spray hood or something. The visibility is way better, and yeah, when there's waves pounding in and stuff, you can easily sit here and be dry while a wind pilot or an autopilot or something is steering, which is, yeah, this thing is super well. I'm gonna try to see if I can modify it somehow, put up some more stuff or so, like yeah, some kind of attachment system where I can put out like a small tent over at least parts of the cockpit. Forward on the deck, you got here is where you are controlling the mainsail, the boom. It works fine. It's not the most solid construction, so I'm definitely gonna redo that somehow, make that slightly more solid, and then also put like a backup system in the cockpit as well, if this one would accidentally break somehow while on passage or so, because yeah, it's not super solid. Here is the mast foot. It's just a flat iron thingy basically, where the foot is standing, and then you got these two bolts keeping the mast in place more or less, and otherwise it's the rigging that keeps the mast in place. So this is just a really simple construction here. Some ventilation is this solar ventilation things. I'm not too impressed by those. Got one there as well. I think I'm gonna yeah, take those one off and put something else there. Here you got the big nice skylight hatch going into the V-berth in the front where I usually sleep, a little cave. I'm gonna show you later as well. And here in the front, some anchor locker. Got only some lines and stuff in there at the moment, but I'm gonna put some anchor chain, anchor as well, like 10 kilo anchor or something, 8mm chain. Should be plenty for this boat. Yeah, front there, anchor roller, and some stainless stuff, really solid stuff all over the place. These cleats in the front, super solid built. Yeah, the boat is just rarely super solid built, I would say. Like fin keel boat built in Sweden from the 70s and the 80s are usually they're good built. There's no bad things usually to them, but this boat is just something else. It is so solid built. It's like more solid built than our last boat, Divina Remy, which was a long keel double ender made for long distance sailing basically, and this boat is more solid built in many ways, which is just ridiculous, but I like that. I think it's really good. Forgot about that before, but the tiller is here. Just a regular tiller, you fold it down, and then yeah, it works nicely. Out here you got the control system for the engine. Just a keyhole, bottom, a little bit of alarm system. Easy peasy. Kill switch for the engine. Yeah, the gas lever thingy, and also land power connection, which has been super good this autumn. Without land power, I don't know what I would have done, because this autumn has been quite rarely cold as well. Like September and October was quite cold. It wouldn't have been too nice to stay in the boat with no land power most of the time. I am making the boat ready now for the winter, so it doesn't look too awesome inside here. There's a lot of stuff standing around. Yeah, I'm just working on it more or less every day now. Now it's pretty dark in here as well. I'm gonna switch on some lights, and then we're gonna do not one of those awesome nice tours, but just a regular simple tour around this, to me, pretty awesome boat. So let's start in the back and move our way forward. It's not a huge boat, so yeah, more or less everything is one room, and then you got the V-berth in front, which is more or less its own room, you can see. To start off, we got 2 beds in the back. One there, one there. And these beds are quite narrow, quite slim, but they're like 190 length. And then they're going all the way here. So they're getting wider, and at the foot end, they're really quite slim, but I think that's a good thing when you're sailing, actually, because you're tucked in. You can have some cushions and stuff, and then you're lying super nicely. Even though it's rolly and stuff like that, you're gonna be lying still and you're gonna have a nice sleep. Same here, it's just basically the same size. Got some more stuff lying around here. Just over here we have the solar panel controller. Not charging too good right now because it's overcast, and it's been like this for a couple of weeks now, at least. I haven't seen the sun in a couple of weeks. So the solar panel isn't working super good, but it's keeping the batteries topped up, so that's all good. When it comes to the engine, it's a Yanmar 2GM, something like that. It's like 15 horsepower diesel engine. It's from 82, but it still works super well. You're gonna see in the coming videos in Norway, when it's getting colder, that it has some problems starting when it's cold, because the diesel is cold and the engine is cold, and it's an old engine. It needs quite a long time with the starter to actually start, but it is no problem at all. As soon as it starts, it runs super good. It got a separate freshwater cooling system as well, combined with seawater cooling as well, of course. And yeah, it works like a treat. And as I said before, with the propeller at 2000 revs, it just goes super good in the water and can push the boat easily against the gale with no problem at all. When it comes to the sofa in the saloon, looks like this. Got a big table here, which is removable. Got the leg down here. This table you could also put with same leg attached in the cockpit, which is pretty nice, I think, while sailing, that it's removable. Otherwise, the sofa is quite wide. It's about the same wideness as in the middle of the beds in the back, so you could easily sleep one person here. Well, it's quite calm because you don't have any like hammock thingy that comes up and keeps you in the bed. So if you're on a like leaning to port side of the boat, then you could easily sleep here. But if you're leaning towards starboard, there's no way. Got some storage compartments here. Here you have like quite big ones. Gonna probably put like shelves here in the middle, so divide them up a little bit, make them slightly more efficient, you could say. But these all three are more or less the same size. And then on the other side here, there's also storing compartments for the kitchen stuff. We got the plates, we got the, yeah, right now I have taken away all the food stuff, but yeah, usually there's food ingredients here. Got some cooking frying pans, little, I don't know, pots, stuff like that, and some forks, knives, everything you could possibly imagine. And all this stuff was included with the boat when I bought it, so it was very easy to just take the boat out and start sailing around, basically, with all this stuff on the boat already. Gas stove, 2 burners, works nicely. It's not a hanging gas stove, which is a shame, but if you're usually sailing around in Sweden or to Norway, just overnight sails, it doesn't matter too much because you're usually in a harbor lying still or sailing on quite flat water. So it's been working fine for me this autumn at least. Electric tap with just stainless sink, stainless everywhere here. I try to keep as much salt water out from the boat and the kitchen as I possibly can. So while in harbor, I do the dishes in fresh water, and yeah, it's been working super well. The electric pump to the tap hasn't been working so well, but yeah, electricity is, yeah, it is what it is. Right here, I used to have a fridge. A bigger fridge which took up all the space more or less, which you could open with a door, but that was just super inefficient, and I just took it out and changed it for this compressor driven little nice fridge. I think it takes like 30 liters or something like that, which is plenty for me while sailing alone, and it's actually larger than the one that we had on Divina Remy, our last boat, where we sailed to the Caribbean and then back to Sweden again. So this is gonna be more than enough on this boat for sure. Moving forward in the boat, we firstly get to the toilet area. This here is super slim to get through, so I've been hitting this thing here, which is the support for the mast foot. I've been hitting that with my shoulders so many times this sail, but still I think it's pretty nice to have it this slim, because then you get the feeling like this is a different room and you can hang like a curtain in between here when you're more people to get more privacy and stuff like that, which is nice. And then on the other side here you got like a storage compartment, big one. No dividers or anything like that. You got some hanging dividers here, but here's just a big one, so I'm gonna make some kind of dividing system here to get more sorted kind of. And the toilet here on the other side, there's not too much to say about it. It's just a simple manual pumped toilet. It has no tank, so when you're peeing or pooping, it all just goes straight out into the ocean. So if you're in a harbor, I use the toilets at the harbor, and you don't do everything straight into the harbor, of course. But if you're out sailing on a passage or further off on land, you could do what you want. Here in front has definitely been my favorite area this autumn, because it's so low in the roof and it's so just cozy. I had this old mattress which we used on Divina Remy as well. Just put it out here, and it was so thick and nice and cozy. And then a big what's it called? You know, the thing you have on you when you're just leaving. Oh. Write in the comments the name. In Sweden it's called täcke, at least, so you Swedes know what I mean. And just a lot of pillows, stuff like that. Just make yourself super cozy. In the evenings it could be maybe 10 degrees in the boat sometimes. Then it's nice to just get in here, get cozy, get warm, and maybe just watch the stars here through it goes up like this, and then you could just stick your nose out or do whatever. It's so big, so it's super easy to just jump out or in and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward for the next summer when it's warmer and nicer, when you can just sleep with this one open, and as soon as you wake up you can just jump out, jump in the water. You don't even have to go through the boat or so on. So this is one super nice addition to the boat. And because this bed is quite high situated here, and it's quite squeezed in, basically you got a lot of storage area underneath. So right underneath here is an 80-liter water tank which is connected to the sink, and then in the front here you got more or less as much space for storage. So I'm thinking about maybe adding another water tank further in front, maybe 50 liters or something, but maybe not. We'll see what we'll do with that area. Okay, time to get a little bit slightly more nerdy at least. Right here at the toilet, you got the chain plates coming down. It's the same on the other side here. So you get like a knee, I think it's called, like this, going down, laminated to the side of the boat. And then you got 4 bolts on through the chain plate and through this knee here, which keeps the chain plates in place. And they're, I mean, on the 29 feet fin keel boat like this one, there's not much force at all, even though you have slightly too much sails up and stuff. It's not that much force in the mast, but still this is more or less rigged up for I don't know, I've seen 40 feet boat at least that has less sturdy chain plates than this one has. So this could hold easily for a 40 feet cruising boat, possibly even bigger, which is just ridiculous because, I mean, this boat is so small and it has this sturdy build. It's crazy. And the side of the boat as well is just ridiculously thick. You can see it. It has more or less the same thickness as the deck, and the deck is this thick. Look at this. So this is the thickness. Here's my thumb. Wow. So it's as thick as my thumb is wide, more or less, which is ridiculous for this size of a boat. Some boat has that thickness in the deck in some places, more or less, but this boat is just all the way through. I've been in the cockpit, for example, I've been drilling a hole for the autopilot fitting, and the autopilot fitting is like this tall. It goes like that deep down into the laminate, and the laminate was as thick as that one was deep, which is, yeah, like 2 centimeters. It's ridiculous. And here is one more detail that I love about this boat, that the electricity part is so simple. It's just ridiculously simple. You got 4 switches here, which is the main panel, and then 3 switches here, which is only the lights on the mast and some navigation lights and stuff like that. 1 socket for electricity, 12 volts electricity, some fuses, voltmeter. Yeah, that's more or less it. Otherwise it's just LED lamps all over and a radio thingy here, CD player, but it's so little electricity fitted into the boat, so there's not that much that can corrode and cause shorts and problems with the electrical area, which I appreciate a lot because I'm not a good electrician at all. I mean, I fitted the solar panels and stuff like that, but that's how far my electrical knowledge goes, more or less. So I am happy when everything is working and when there's a small chance that there will be problems. There's always gonna be some stuff to fix on the sailboat, but yeah, trying to make those risks and like risk that something will break, trying to make that as small as possible is kind of my philosophy. And that's also the reason why I bought a really small boat like this one, which can still go cruising with 3 or 4 people without any big problems. Of course you won't stay that many people on this boat for many months, but at least a few weeks would be possible with 4 people, I would say. Talking about over-dimensioned things, the mast of the boat is actually inside here. It's super dark in here now, but you got 2 masts lying here, and it's the one to the right, the golden one. That's the mast to my boat. It's like 11 meters long, but the thing that is really impressive and sturdy with this mast is that it has these stays, the 8mm stays, which is, I think, is the same thickness that we had on our last boat, Divina Remy, and that is just ridiculous. That like a 29 feet fin keel boat with 8mm stakes. I never heard of that before. So that is just super nice. We got furling system on the boat, furling Genoa. Otherwise, it's not much more to say about the mast and the rigging. Now I know one thing that I haven't told you yet, and the boat model, it's called JW29. It's built and designed in Stockholm, Sweden. Yeah, there's built like 6 or 7 of them, and I guess that's because they're so sturdily built. So I guess the material costs went higher than the constructor actually calculated. So I guess it wasn't profitable to build such well-built boats even back then. I guess that could be the reason, but not sure. That is it for this boat tour. I hope you liked it. I hope I get to cover more or less everything that you wanted. I didn't get too into things, but not too little either, I hope. My plans now is to maybe buy a wind pilot to put on the back of the boat during the winter. I will probably fit it in May though, next year. Yeah, hopefully I do that. I don't know. I'm not sure. I got an electric autopilot, so that will do for a while. But yeah, wind pilots are just better. So, but if you like the video, push the thumbs up. And if you have any more questions about the boat, which I haven't answered with this video, put them down in the comment section, and I will try to answer as many as I possibly can. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good evening or morning or whatever you're having.